Thanks for sticking with Rising. We are continuing to follow the presidential debate. Midway through, we're reacting almost live to what's going on.
So we just couldn't bear to watch it anymore.
we couldn't bear to watch it.
We flipped coins for our seats, so if you can't bear to watch it, we'll help you digest it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we covered the beginning of the debate, the COVID stuff. They then moved on to abortion, where Trump made a, in fairness to the other side, I really did slam Biden in the first video we just did. Trump claimed that every legal expert on earth agrees with him that Roe v. Wade should be overturned. That obviously is not true.
Right. He said, the legal experts agree with me. Biden kept pointing out you have these 51 plus constitutional law scholars that agreed with Roe, thought it was a good precedent, or rather it was in place for 50 some odd years. Yeah. And you had countless legal scholars saying, actually, no, this is good. This makes the most sense. Of course, Trump's making the case for it to be pushed back to the states. But Biden did a good job defending what actually is, contrary to what Trump says, a very popular policy, women having access to abortion, and Biden did a very good job clarifying the common disinformation that there is a possibility to get an abortion after the baby is born and at 9 months. Biden did a good job clarifying that that is only if the mother's life is in danger.
He then made such a fatal error as to end his entire campaign by starting to talk about exceptions, rape, sexual assault, murder, and then brought up immigrants. And there is this big news story right now, a teenage girl who's allegedly raped and killed by 2 illegal immigrants. It's all conservatives are talking about. Biden prompted Trump to talk about that by pivoting in that direction. And then, yes, we went into immigration, where Trump spoke to what is his best issue right now, one of the top issues in the country, people's concern of illegal immigrants and what's happening on the border. And Trump said, we have terrorists coming in. It is true that an ISIS group was captured. 8 people with ISIS connections were actually apprehended after with border security issues in recent weeks. Is it the case that terrorists are streaming into the country in record numbers? There was a lot of flourish obviously going on there, but Trump is speaking to a absolute fear that people have now a huge advantage. Biden set it up for him and had no effective comeback or rebuttal for it, I thought.
Right. Trump is blowing everything up that he's saying. Yeah. He's making it much bigger than it is, to the point of essentially lying about what's going on. I think Biden, in that response, bringing up that Donald Trump came to the state of Georgia to attend that funeral, he definitely had a prepared talking point that he forgot, and he just botched it. He's like, we're here in this state, and you were here at this funeral, and then he trailed off as if he forgot the point and ended up saying, what I heard was, now you have women who, if they are raped or if it's a case of incest, now they don't have anything to do about it, and think about all of the women who will be raped by their in-laws, their brother or sisters, and it was a moment where it was a gaffe that could end a campaign, honestly. What was he saying there?
It's a huge, huge issue for Biden right now. A lot of anyone who was saying he should have been swapped out, he's too old, is looking very, very vindicated. What Biden did so effectively in 2020 was communicate empathy for people. We were going through a terrible time in the country, the pandemic. People had lost loved ones, thousands dying. Trump seemed like he was frustrated and flustered and didn't know how to deal with this, and was really didn't know how to rescue his presidency, rescue the country at that time. Biden projected coolness, confidence, and that he gets it. He suffered loss in his personal life. This is someone you can trust who understands loss. I have to say that in this debate so far, Trump sounds like the empathetic one. Again, he is exaggerating, and he's saying a number of things that are going to be fact-checked and people are going to say are not accurate. But he sounds like he's saying there's a lot that has gone wrong in this country under Joe Biden, and I am upset on your behalf.
I really
appreciate it. That's what he sounds like to me.
Yeah, he did end up making a very coherent point in saying that, well, if that's how you feel about abortion, is to send it back to the states, what are we going to do with civil rights? Are we going to send decisions over civil rights back to each of the states? Which I think is a useful comparison for voters' minds who may not be thinking about the issue in that way. But then he went on to say, a woman should be able to make that decision with her doctor, and he should tell her whether or not she needs help. Which, do you really want to say that? But I really want to make sure we get to Israel-Palestine. It's on everybody's mind.
Yes.
Trump will not answer a question on Israel every time it is brought up. He talks about how he will not send more money to NATO and pivots to Ukraine, to the point where he hasn't given an answer at all to the questions asked about Israel-Palestine.
That was very disappointing. I've been waiting. That's the thing I want to hear from him most, because it's what he's least clear on. He was asked about Israel and pivoted back to Ukraine. Biden didn't want to say very much about Israel at all. It was almost as if the candidates had secretly agreed beforehand, let's just not talk about Israel, not use it against either. They said very little. Trump's exact line was that, because Biden said that only Hamas wants war in Israel, and then Trump actually said wants war in only Hamas wants war in Gaza, and then Trump's rebuttal was, no, Israel wants that war too, and they should get it. But we got, and then his whole we got to wrap it up thing, and then Biden's too soft and he's with Palestine, but he knows that the left is actually mad at him about. So it was totally incoherent, and it's not clear at all what, if anything, Trump would do differently on Israel. So that's going to be a very unsatisfying answer. He did say on Ukraine that he would end the war in Ukraine, Trump would, if he won the election before he took office. So that was a very lofty campaign promise. And then he spoke to Putin.
He also called Biden a bad Palestinian at one point in the debate.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting exchange.
Such a nasty woman.
Yeah,
such a bad
right.
Palestinian.
Biden then said, we're going to get rid of Hamas. That's what we're going to do to end this situation in Israel, Gaza, and we're going to ensure that the hostages are released. When you have the Israeli defense minister coming to the United States, enough people are paying attention to this that we know it's not as simple as that. That we know if you have the right idea there, that it would be done. That's not where we're at this stage in the war, and that's not what anyone was looking for from Biden in his answers there. But the whole foreign policy subject devolved into who likes us among the veteran community, who is liked more. And Biden correctly said, I passed the PACT Act. It got 1 million veteran families health care. Veterans are actually better off under my administration. Of course, Trump says, no, that's not true. The veterans love me so much. They love me more than anybody, quite frankly. It's just really ridiculous what we're getting from both of them.
I know, but what you're getting from Biden is a lot of whispering and a lot of mumbling. And look, it's not just about who's right, if only it was. It's also about the vibes, man. And Trump said right before we started filming, he said something like, in your heart, this guy is not capable of being president for another 4 years. You know it. And checking what the reactions are on social media, even from Democrats, even from people who support Biden, absolutely no one is pleased with the president's performance so far. They are deeply, deeply worried, and I think it is so unlikely and so difficult that they would actually swap Biden out at this point. Those conversations are occurring right now.
It's very sad. I thought it would be funny, but it's really quite sad to watch.
It is sad. All right, we will have more reactions on Rising tomorrow on our program, including interviews with several of the third-party candidates, Chase Oliver, Jill Stein, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's on Rising tomorrow. We hope to see you there.
There are other options, folks.